Chosen one. If you continue ignoring what you already know must change. You may allow precious opportunities to slip beyond your reach before realizing how near they once were. I am not saying this to threaten you, nor do I want you to live in fear that a single moment of delay will cause every blessing to disappear. I am awakening you from the procrastination that has lasted far too long. From the habit of standing at a crossroads without choosing because you are afraid you may be wrong. There are times when you need to wait patiently. But there are also times when waiting becomes a beautiful garment, concealing fear. This moment is an invitation to look honestly at your life. Recognize what needs to end, what needs to begin, and what requires you to step forward courageously before hesitation carries you back into an old cycle. I have seen the weight you carried throughout the past years. I know the battles no one knew about. The mornings when you woke with a heavy mind, yet still fulfilled your responsibilities. And the nights when you wondered whether all your effort would ever produce anything. There were times when you nearly released a dream because others could not see your ability. There were times when you accepted circumstances beneath what you deserved because you feared that if you left, no other place would welcome you. You repeatedly diminished your voice, hid your desires, and pretended that everything was fine while inwardly longing for a clearer life. Yet the light within you never completely went out. Even when you were most exhausted, a small part of you continued whispering that your story could not end this way. It is because that flame is still burning that I am calling for your attention now. Not every good thing enters your life while you remain motionless and wait. Some doors are opened through faithfulness, but you still have to approach them and place your hand upon the handle. Some prayers have been answered through an opportunity to learn, a meeting, an idea, or a reminder. Yet because the answer did not look as you expected, you nearly overlooked it. Do not wait only for a sign that removes every doubt. Discernment sometimes provides just enough light for the next step. Because if you saw the entire road, you would no longer need faith or growth. What I am asking of you is not recklessness, but thoughtful action after you have listened carefully. You have passed through storms that could have caused many people to lose their direction. Perhaps there was a season of financial scarcity in which you had to calculate every small expense. Or a broken relationship that left you wondering whether you were truly worthy of love. Perhaps you once carried a beautiful plan but buried it beneath mockery, early failure, or the increasing demands of life. None of these things prove that you are weak. The fact that you are still standing reveals an endurance within you that even you have not fully understood. Yet, do not use the past only to speak about what you endured. Use it to recognize what you learned, what you will no longer accept, and what kind of future you want to build beginning today. Distraction rarely appears as a frightening enemy. It comes through small matters that seem harmless. Hours spent being drawn into other people's lives, or the repeated promise that you will begin tomorrow. Doubt also rarely shouts. It whispers that you need another sign, another guarantee, or a little more confidence before taking a step. In this way, days become months, and the door before you remains closed, not because you lack the key, but because you have not chosen to use it. I do not condemn you for having been afraid, but I do not want you to build a home inside fear and call it caution. Sometimes caution means examining the road. At other times, it is simply how you avoid stepping onto it. Imagine a door before you that leads toward maturity, peace, and a more purposeful life. It does not promise that there will be no difficulties on the other side, but it does lead you out of the cycles that have exhausted you. The key is not a secret number, a loud declaration, or an intense emotion that burns for only a few minutes. The key is the specific decision you make after hearing these words. Perhaps it is organizing your finances instead of continuing to avoid the numbers. Perhaps you need to submit an application. Begin learning a skill. Apologize to someone you wounded. Or establish a boundary with someone who continually diminishes you. The first step may also be simply receiving enough rest so that your mind no longer makes decisions from exhaustion. You are not insignificant, but this does not mean you have been placed above other people. You have been given abilities, lessons, and sensitivity for a good purpose. Genuine greatness is not found in fame, applause, or requiring others to recognize that you are special. It is found in honesty when no one is watching, discipline when no one is urging you forward, and the way you use success to lift others rather than prove that you are superior. If you desire to enter a season of abundance, learn how to preserve and use what you currently possess. If you long for relationships to heal, begin through clear communication and responsibility for your own mistakes. If you desire restored health, respect your body's practical needs and seek appropriate support when necessary. I do not promise that everything will change simply because you have heard a message. Beautiful words gain value only when they lead you toward a different way of living. You may feel encouraged today and return to old habits tomorrow if you do not build a specific action. Therefore, choose one thing within your reach and carry it out with sincerity. Do not attempt to transform your entire life in one night. A great door is often opened through many small, consistent movements that few people ever see. Every time you keep a commitment to yourself, you restore the trust weakened by past delays. Every time you complete something necessary, your mind learns that you are no longer powerless before circumstances. Remember also that certain things do not belong to you, regardless of how hard you try to keep them. Not every closed door is a lost blessing. Some doors must close because what lies behind them would continue hurting you. Some people need to leave because they loved only the version of you that had no boundaries. Some plans need to change because you have outgrown your former desires. Awareness is not only knowing when to move forward, but also knowing what should no longer be pursued. Do not use persistence to justify continually knocking upon a place that never honors your presence. Learn to distinguish endurance from stubbornness and hope from the denial of truths that have already become unmistakable. Beloved, your next step may not change the entire world immediately, but it can change the direction of your life. Do not let the weight of the whole future prevent you from taking one small action in the present. Become still. Look clearly, and ask yourself what you already know must be done, but have continually delayed. Then begin in peace. You do not need to feel completely ready, because readiness often appears only after the first few steps have been taken. I am not calling you to run in panic because you fear the door will close. I am calling you to walk with awareness because you have remained still long enough. Therefore, lift your head, reorder your thoughts, and give today one sincere decision. Do not continue allowing fear to choose for you. Do not let distraction consume precious hours and then cause you to mourn how quickly time passed. You have traveled farther than you realize, survived what you once thought would destroy you, and now possess enough wisdom to walk differently. I Michael, have not come to tell you that every blessing will disappear if you fail to act within one urgent moment. I have come to remind you that your life will change direction only when you stop giving hesitation authority. The key is already in your hand: courage, discernment, and a faithful decision to do what is right. Turn it, open the door, and enter the new season as someone who has stopped waiting for another person to live your life for you. I have placed a new road before you, but you must leave the old place and courageously take the first step. I can illuminate the way, create opportunities, and prepare what is necessary, but I will not walk your portion for you. What keeps you from moving is not always an outward circumstance. Often, it is a burden you carried for so long that you began believing it belonged to you. Fear makes you hesitate before every opportunity. Shame forces you to bow beneath past mistakes. And words that denied your worth persuade you that goodness is reserved for others. Beloved, those voices do not speak the truth about you. They only attempt to keep you within the old room where you became accustomed to doubting and diminishing yourself. The time has come to recognize that the past may teach you, but it does not possess the right to steer your future. I know you tried to move forward many times, but whenever you approached a new door, old memories rose again. You remembered rejection, criticism, and plans that ended in disappointment. You began imagining that everything would repeat itself, and then withdrew before the opportunity could reveal its full potential. But you are no longer the same person you once were. You have learned how to rise, recognize what needs to change, and understand that your worth does not depend upon a single success or failure. Allow former pain to become wisdom rather than turning it into a lock upon the door. You have the right to begin again with a more mature, peaceful, and discerning heart. What I placed within your heart is not a temporary word of comfort. It is like a seed carrying life within itself. But in order to grow, it needs ground that is open to receive it. If you continually fill your heart with noise, doubt, and self-condemnation, the seed will struggle to find space in which to take root. Therefore, become still and examine what you believe about yourself. Do you still say that you always fail? Do you believe that because you once chose the wrong road, you no longer deserve a new one? Are you using the words of those who hurt you as a lifelong sentence? Remove each layer of deception. A promise can transform your life only when you allow it to change how you think, choose, and act. The gates opening before you may not appear spectacular. They may look like one conversation, an invitation to collaborate, an opportunity to study, or a decision you have postponed for a long time. Some doors appear small but lead to a wide land, while impressive doors sometimes carry you back into former cycles. Therefore, you need not only courage, but discernment. What is right will not require you to abandon integrity, trample others, or betray good values in order to enter. It may demand effort, growth, and movement beyond your comfort zone. But deep within, there will remain an enduring peace, reminding you that you are walking in the right direction. Imagine standing at the border of a land you have never entered. Behind you is what is familiar, and although it has sometimes been painful, at least you know how to survive there. Ahead lies a new space where you do not possess a complete map and cannot control every outcome. This is why fear tells you to remain still. It persuades you that familiarity is safer than the invitation, and that it is better to remain in scarcity than risk change. But beloved, remaining still for too long is also a choice, and sometimes it causes you to miss the very season for which you prayed. I am not asking you to rush forward impulsively. I am only inviting you to take the right step that has become clear and trust that light for the next step will arrive at the proper time. The gate of provision may open, but you need to enter with preparation. If you pray for improved finances, learn to manage what you already possess. Develop your abilities and remain faithful in small work. If you desire a healthy relationship, heal the patterns that caused you to accept what was beneath your worth and learn to establish peaceful boundaries. If you desire restored health, listen to your body, receive proper rest, and seek appropriate support instead of merely enduring. If you desire purpose, begin serving with the gift already within you rather than waiting to feel perfect. Every door requires a more responsible version of you. Blessing is not merely something received, it must also be preserved and used wisely. Doubt will continue telling you that this time does not belong to you. It will repeat every reason why you should wait longer. Fear more and seek further confirmation. But mature faith is not absolute certainty. It is the ability to act while a part of you is still trembling. You do not need to wait until every fear disappears before beginning. Courage often appears only after you place your foot upon the first step. Remember that you do not need to prove anything to the crowd. Genuine commitment is not found in a number you write or a symbolic action upon a screen. It is found in the decision you make when no one is watching, whether you rise early to complete what must be done. Stop returning to the place that drained you. Keep promises to yourself and remain faithful after the first excitement has passed. A new page does not begin merely because you say you want to change. It begins when you stop repeating old choices. You cannot pray for peace while keeping every door open to chaos. You cannot desire abundance while continuing to live without discipline. You cannot ask for respect while remaining silent before what violates your dignity. You also cannot wait to be recognized while continually hiding your abilities because you fear making others uncomfortable. Let your commitment become practical action. Today, you may submit that application. Complete a task. Reorder your living space. Speak honestly. Or release a habit that has continued for too long. One small step in the right direction carries more power than a grand declaration that is never fulfilled. I also want you to understand that being elevated does not make you greater than anyone else. Genuine respect does not come from standing above others, but from living according to your values, fulfilling your responsibilities, and refusing to let other people define who you are. When you enter abundance, remain humble. When strength is restored, use it to protect rather than control. When your voice is heard, speak what builds instead of using influence to wound. Every open door carries this reminder. You are entrusted with more so that you may live more generously, serve more deeply, and become a source of hope to those still standing before their own doors. Beloved, the place of former scarcity can become the place where you learn to manage sufficiency. What once made you weak can become a source of wisdom and endurance. The place where you were overlooked can become the very place where your light is recognized. But for these things to take form, you must release the old garments of fear, shame, and self-denial. I prepared the road, placed necessary lessons within the seasons you just completed, and am now opening opportunities aligned with your growth. Lift your head. Reclaim the strength you gave to the past. And move forward. Do not wait for a greater sign when the next step is already before you. You do not need to run, you only need to refuse to turn back. Walk in peace, courage, and faithfulness, because the new page is no longer far away. It begins at the moment you decide to pass through the door. Fear once caused you only to watch. Beloved, the weight you are feeling is not always evidence that you have been abandoned. Sometimes it is the gentle but urgent awakening calling you back to the road that belongs to you. I know there are days when you look around and everything seems to become difficult at once. Plans no longer work as they once did. Relationships begin to fracture, and what you relied upon suddenly loses its certainty. You wonder why life continually pushes you toward your limits, why peace seems so distant, and why every door appears to resist you. But listen carefully. Not every collapse is permitted in order to destroy you. Some structures must shake because they were built upon fear, dependence, or the need for other people's approval. Some things must leave because if they remained, you would continue living in a place too small for the purpose placed within you. Many times, I drew near gently through an unexplained uneasiness, a recurring thought, or the awareness that you no longer belonged within a certain situation. But you were too busy to listen. You attempted to restore everything to its former condition, keep people who had already chosen to leave, and repair a foundation that was no longer stable underneath. You mistook familiarity for safety. So, even when your heart continually warned you, you remained because you feared beginning again. When whispers are ignored, circumstances sometimes have to become clearer. This is not because I want to hurt you, but because I do not want you to spend more precious years upon what is quietly draining the light within you. Heavenly guidance rarely comes only through dramatic events. It is often revealed through repeated patterns that you must become aware enough to recognize. You may continually meet the same type of person, carrying different promises, but treating you in the same way. You may repeatedly enter relationships that require you to exchange dignity for acceptance. A road you keep pursuing may continually become blocked, not because you are incapable, but because that direction no longer aligns with your future. There are places where your peace immediately disappears whenever you enter. Yet you convince yourself that you are overthinking. These things should not cause panic or suspicion. They invite you to stop, observe, and honestly ask which lesson you continue overlooking. I have spoken to you in more ways than you realize. Sometimes a reminder came through the words of someone who knew nothing about your circumstances. Sometimes it appeared as a sudden idea that helped you see another direction. There were mornings when you woke, remembering a dream clearly, not so that you would immediately turn every image into a prediction, but so that you might examine what hidden matter needed attention. A business idea, a desire to learn something new, or an urge to change your way of living may appear repeatedly because the time has come for you to stop diminishing yourself. Yet always discern wisely. Genuine guidance does not draw you into panic, arrogance, or irresponsible decisions. It leads you toward greater clarity, honesty, maturity, and deeper peace. You often desire an unmistakable sign, a call so loud that it removes every doubt. But if I always did everything for you, faith and discernment within you would never mature. Therefore, many signs arrive quietly. A door that repeatedly refuses to open despite every effort. A conversation that reveals a truth you avoided. Or a message appearing at the exact moment when you were preparing to give up. Such things are not always direct commands from heaven, but they can become invitations to awaken, reflect, and act responsibly. Do not chase every number, image, or coincidence as though it possesses authority over your life. Examine the fruit. Does the sign help you become more sincere? Correct what is wrong and leave dependence behind. I want you to learn how to respond while the reminder is still gentle, instead of waiting until circumstances become a storm. You do not need to wait for a relationship to collapse completely before admitting that it is no longer healthy. You do not need to wait until every ounce of strength is gone before permitting yourself to rest. You also do not need to wait for an opportunity to disappear before regretting that you failed to prepare. When peace repeatedly leaves a particular choice, examine it. When a boundary is violated again and again, speak. When an environment continually requires you to pretend, ask why you are still struggling to belong there. Sensitivity is not the ability to predict every event. It is the courage to respond to truth before consequences force you to do what you already knew long ago. Look back at the times when you should not have been able to rise, yet still survived. There were events that seemed capable of ending every hope. Separations that made you believe your heart could never heal. And mistakes that appeared certain to bury your future. Yet you are still here. Not everything that happened was a mysterious miracle. But the fact that you continued rising proves that you were given more endurance than you realized. I preserved you through unwise decisions. But that preservation was not permission to continue living carelessly. It was an opportunity to mature, correct your direction, and avoid repeating choices that nearly caused you to lose your peace. Even during silent seasons, you were not forgotten. Silence does not mean guidance is absent. Sometimes it is a period in which you are invited to use what you already learned instead of demanding another sign. I gave you wisdom, the ability to observe, a conscience, and trustworthy people who can help you discern. Therefore, do not remain motionless simply because you have not heard a complete answer. Do what has already become clear. Reorganize your finances. Seek counsel when needed. Leave an unsafe place. Apologize when you are wrong. And complete the responsibility you delayed. Guidance does not remove personal responsibility. It gives you enough peace to fulfill it with wisdom. Remember also that not every feeling of uneasiness is a warning about another person. Sometimes it arises from unhealed wounds, sleep deprivation, prolonged pressure, or former experiences causing you to react to the present. Therefore, when a person or room feels wrong, do not immediately condemn. Step back. Observe concrete behavior and give yourself time to verify. If they repeatedly violate boundaries, manipulate, lie, or require you to betray your values, you have reason to leave. But if discomfort appears merely because you are entering something new and healthy, do not allow fear of change to disguise itself as guidance. Wisdom distinguishes between the bell of warning and the natural trembling of someone who is growing. From this moment forward, I want you to stop waiting for everything to collapse before you finally look upward. Listen to the first whispers: exhaustion, reminding you that you need rest; emptiness, reminding you to adjust your priorities; and the repetition of a problem, revealing a lesson you have not yet received. If you are continually drawn toward the same kind of relationship, examine what within you still seeks that familiarity. If you repeatedly miss opportunities through self-doubt, begin building competence and confidence through small steps. If you know a place does not belong to you, prepare to leave responsibly rather than waiting until it wounds you again. An awakened person does not run from every difficulty. They understand which difficulty must be overcome and which difficulty is warning that the direction needs to change. Beloved, I have never regarded you as overlooked. I saw you even on the days when no one asked whether you were well, and remained near during moments when you could no longer feel anything. But now, maturity requires you not only to desire rescue, but also to learn how to cooperate with guidance. Notice, sooner, choose more wisely, and do not dismiss your inner peace. You do not need to live in fear that some event is about to strike. You only need to live attentively, so that when change is revealed, you possess the courage to respond. Former breakdowns are not your name. They were bells that awakened you from a long sleep. Now that your eyes are open, rise. Step away from what no longer belongs to you, and trust that the hand that preserved you through dark days is still leading you toward a clearer, steadier place that aligns more fully with the purpose planted deeply within you.